Want to turn now to that desperate situation in the Philippines where typhoon survivors have been lacking food and water for days. Today, some positive news. Distribution is picking up speed and relief is reaching more people. CBN disaster relief teams are also scattered throughout the affected areas. George Thomas has more now from the Philippines.
Okay, let's get those repacked and let's move it to the other side so that we can load them onto the truck.
CBN's disaster relief warehouse in Manila is in overdrive mode.
Actually, we've been in this mode the past 5 months. We've had typhoons, we had the earthquake, we had the war in the south. Now, this devastating typhoon.
Dr. Kim Pascual oversees the operation. She says Typhoon Haiyan is by far the biggest disaster they've had to deal with.
The scale of this is so big.
The destruction is wide, spread across 6 Philippine islands, and is presenting huge logistical challenges for aid distribution.
The problem is we're dealing with small islands that doesn't have transportation from the very beginning.
But with help from local partners, supplies are getting to the hardest hit areas by plane and boat. One of those cities is Tacloban. A 17-foot storm surge swept away the port city, destroying a majority of the homes and businesses. On a recent afternoon, CBN disaster relief teams set up an emergency mobile clinic near Marites Bacho's house.
My family had to hold on to trees to survive.
Nothing is left of her neighborhood. She's now living in a makeshift structure. And like so many of the survivors here, Bacho and her 2 children were treated for upper respiratory problems.
These medicines will make us feel better.
Among the dozens of patients also being seen today was a little girl born 3 days after the typhoon. She was here for her first doctor's visit.
The day the typhoon hit, I started having contractions and was praying, God, please, I don't want to give birth now.
Her mother named her Yolanda, which is the Filipino name for Typhoon Haiyan. I asked the mom why she named her daughter after a storm that caused incredible destruction. Here's what she said.
We're facing so many hardships, and despite the deaths, destroyed homes, hunger, no food, no jobs, we're still thankful that God has given us a new life, a new baby.
The official death toll from the typhoon stands at nearly 4,000, but officials say it could rise much higher. Some 11 million Filipinos have been affected, many displaced or left homeless. Long-term, the mental health of survivors is also a concern. Government officials in one city asked CBN Disaster Relief to provide counseling for typhoon victims. Tacloban was the capital city for 6 provinces here in the Visayas. Today, the unimaginable task of rebuilding a mess that looks like this.
We can be overwhelmed by what we see from the news. I myself am overwhelmed. But what we're thinking is zeroing into a village, invest in this village so that it can make a difference, even in 1, 2, or 3 villages, that we can transform and we can really say there is hope even in the midst of disaster.
George Thomas, CBN News, Tacloban, Philippines.